you can't tell somebody they're right or wrong. Like hula, you can't say that one hula dance is, or the way that they take a hela is right compared to another school who takes a certain hela. It's just more so like what else is out there in the world, and just include all of that into your work and bring all of that back together to what your intention of your work is. And for me, that's kind of like been the heaviest thing, and I guess the proudest thing for me about being Hawaiian is I like to think is that mindset.
I'm so happy you said that, because I agree. I don't view the world in black and white, like wrong or right. I feel like we have all different perspectives, and some people, they stand so strong, like it has to be done this way. You have to olelo like this. You can't olelo like this. But there's different. That's all it is. It's not right or wrong. It's just different. Some people uehe with their legs going out. Some people uehe with the legs going forward, right?
Yeah.
So it's different styles. Some people olelo like the kupunas back then. Some people olelo like me. It's because we learn in this modern era. And my dad would always tell me stories about speaking with kupunas, like when he would go to church, and how poetic they would be, or they would use idioms, right? Which is something I wish we had. I wish we had a Hawaiian book of idioms. For example, there's just one thing, we would be like, oh yeah, let's meet at noon, or at 12 o'clock, let's go grab lunch. Be like, hey, hui kako ke kau kalai kalolo. It's like, what? What is that? Kau kalai kalolo? What? Like when kau is like to place, or like put, and then la is sun, and lolo is like your brain. So it's like, oh, so when the sun is over your brain, that's when it's noon.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that.
Kau kalai kalolo.
I'm gonna remember that one.
Yeah. So stuff like that is what your grandmother and the kupuna is talking about. Is it was a lot more poetic or metaphoric, and now we're a little bit more direct in the sense of like translation. So that's something in languages, because I've learned multiple languages too, that they always try to warn you about is not translating directly, where you think it means something because it kind of sounds like something. For example, like Spanish, some words sounds like, is this like a Spanish version of an English word? Same way like Hawaiian, like kalipa, silipa, in Hawaiian. But some words don't actually mean what they mean.
Yeah, I've gotten that too. Oh, if this and this, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Things like that, you take it in, but you cannot always apply it. So I agree with that too. Is and it just kind of shows the importance. We should, I don't know. The more opportunity there are for all of us to learn, I think it can only be better, because the world we live in today, I mean, it's awesome that we're learning olelo, but we also have to pay to learn olelo. We have to pay to learn who we are. And that was a big thing for me. Is like, what can we do in our community? How can we be more active where we can learn who we are just by living our life? But nowadays we have to go to school, which is awesome, but it's just the fact, like, I have to pay to learn who I am. And so, I mean, stuff like this, your show, with my show, that's what I try to do, is just, how can we just bring all this out? We can all learn together. We all get to just uplift each other and not have to take our money away for time.
That's why I really appreciate the people that give these resources out for free. Free Hawaiian classes, free Hawaiian resources, free TV shows, It's just, it's so important, because I know one of the reasons that you wanted to create your show is because there wasn't enough representation of actual people educating people on the real Hawaii, or like things actually going on, right?
That's what I felt, and I only can share my perspective, and others may have their own perception too. But when it came to the news, I mean, just pronunciation of place names, we'll just kick it off with that, where sometimes it's just like nails on a chalkboard, and it's like, oh, but then you just look at the faces on TV, and they're not necessarily the most Hawaiian looking people, and you just gotta, to me, hold space. Like, we all have a space that we should be in. And when it came to TV, I mean, I never planned to be in the news, not at all. In high school, we had Pukamai Kala, which is our morning newscast. And it was something I did for a year or a semester or something, but it was just to have fun, like to play around with gadgets and whatever. But I never really took it seriously. When I got into the news, it was an incident that happened in Waikiki. So there's the Prince Jonah Kuhio statue on the beach of Waikiki. And a previous job that I had after graduating with a degree was a dishwasher at Bubba Gump's restaurant, which is now the Olive Garden. But one of my coworkers that I used to work with, he messaged me one day, and it was a video of his friend and their friends or whatever. So that's how he acquired the video. But he sent it to me. He says, just don't use my name, but I know this is going to make you mad. Do with it whatever you want. And it was a Hawaiian boy who come to find out he's a Hawaiian boy, but he graffitied Prince Kuhio's statue with all bright orange construction paint. And it was just like, what? And the way that I think he was saying was that, oh, Hawaiians lost Waikiki. The Haoles took it over, so screw it. Like, screw this place. And it's like, you know how sad that is? Especially the fact that Prince Kuhio, if we knew who he was, we may have a little bit more respect where we wouldn't have done that. Because if this boy just so happened to live on Hawaiian Homestead, it's because of this gentleman that he's living there. And to me, when I seen that video, I didn't know what to do with it. But at that point, I already was doing social media 1-minute clips, like go to a street sign and underneath on the corner of the street, just talk about what the name means. And a little, just try to build some content. And I had a mentor and she said, build a website, which I didn't know how. And it was a very simple, cheap website that I was just putting these videos on. So when this video came to me, I just went on to all the news websites and I found every single email that I could find. And I took that video and I had my website link and I sent it to them. And all I just said was, if there were more cultural education integrated within newscasts, maybe stuff like this may never have happened, because that boy would have known who Prince Kuhio was and that he was the man who is responsible for Hawaiian homelands and all of that jazz. So it would be a win-win-win for everybody, because the community will look at the news as they care about the community enough where they're going to put this kind of information in. The news is going to win because the community is looking at them as they care. I would win because I needed a job at that point. So it all worked out well.
I get to pay my bills.